Welcome back to English Speaking Corner, your quiet space to build real speaking confidence. Today, we are going to build a survival mechanism for the most dangerous moment in any English conversation. You are sitting in a noisy cafe. Your colleague is telling a story. They are speaking incredibly fast. Suddenly, they stop, laugh, and look right at you, waiting for your answer. You understood absolutely nothing. That sudden spike of panic hits your chest. Do you just smile and fake a laugh to avoid being exposed?
I used to do this all the time when I first moved abroad. I would just nod, say yeah, wow, and then spend the rest of the day terrified they would ask me a follow-up question I could not answer.
Stop smiling and nodding. Put on your headphones. Today, we are going step by step to practice the exact polite phrases native speakers use to stop a conversation and ask for a rewind.
It really is the ultimate trap for language learners. You feel like if you ask someone to repeat themselves, you are failing a test. You feel like you are exposing yourself as someone who does not belong in that conversation.
Exactly. The fear of looking unintelligent is so strong, so we choose the fake smile. We choose to just nod our heads and pray that the topic changes before we're forced to actually contribute.
But the truth is, the fake nodding always catches up with you. I remember early in my career, I was in a meeting with a manager who spoke a mile a minute. He mumbled, he used idioms, he talked while looking down at his desk. He finished a long explanation and looked at me. I just smiled and said, absolutely, makes total sense.
Oh no, what happened?
He said, great, so when can you have that report finished? And my heart just dropped into my stomach. I had agreed to do a massive project, and I had absolutely no idea what the project even was. I had to go back to his office an hour later, knock on the door, and confess that I did not hear a single thing he said in the meeting. It was 100 times more embarrassing than just stopping him in the moment would have been.
That is such a perfect example. And the funny thing is, native speakers ask each other to repeat things all the time. We mishear things constantly. We zone out. The coffee machine makes a loud noise. Someone walks past. We never feel ashamed to say, wait, what was that?
Right. Native speakers interrupt each other to ask for clarification every single day. It is a completely normal part of human communication. But when we're learning a language, we suddenly expect ourselves to have superhuman listening abilities.
We do. We expect perfection. So our goal for this session is to take away that pressure. We are going to build your muscle memory so that the next time you feel that panic rising in your chest, you do not freeze. You will have a polite, natural phrase ready to go.
Let us start with the foundation, the casual rewind. When you completely lose the thread of what someone is saying, the textbook will tell you to say, "Can you repeat, please?" Or, "Excuse me, I did not understand."
And while those are grammatically fine, they can feel a little robotic. They sound like you're in a classroom. In the real world, we want something that sounds effortless, something that shifts the blame away from your English skills and just makes it sound like a normal, casual misunderstanding.
The best phrase for this is, "Sorry, I completely missed that."
Sorry, I completely missed that. Let's break that down. You're not saying, my English is bad. You're just saying, I missed it, like it flew past you in the air.
It happens to everyone. You could have been distracted, the room could have been too loud, it's completely neutral.
I want you to practice this with us right now. But before we speak, we are going to use a physical anchor. This is a technique to help connect your body to the language. When you need to stop a fast talker, your body language is just as important as your words.
Exactly. If you just sit perfectly still and say the words, they might just keep talking over you.
So wherever you are sitting right now, whether you are on the train or at your desk or walking in the park, I want you to lift your hand slightly, just a few inches. Bring your hand up with your palm facing the other person, like a very gentle stop sign.
You don't need to thrust your hand out aggressively, just a soft, polite lift of the hand. It signals to the other person's brain that they need to pause.
Lift your hand gently, take a small breath in, and say, sorry, I completely missed that. I'm going to say the phrase and then I'll leave a few seconds of silence. During that silence, lift your hand and speak the phrase out loud into the room. Don't just think it. You have to physically speak it to build the confidence. Here we go. Sorry, I completely missed that.
Let's do it again. Feel the rhythm of the words. The stress is on the word completely. Sorry, I completely missed that. Lift your hand and repeat after me. Sorry, I completely missed that.
Good. Notice how Mark's voice does not go up at the end of the sentence. He is not asking a panicked question. He is stating a calm fact. Let us try it one more time. Deep breath, gentle hand raise, and smooth delivery. Repeat after me. Sorry, I completely missed that.
Perfect. That is your baseline. You can use that phrase with a barista, a coworker, or a friend. It is universally polite.
But sometimes you need something slightly more specific. Let us imagine you are in a one-on-one meeting. The other person is explaining a process. You understood the first half, but the second half was just a blur of fast words.
If I'm explaining how our new software works, and I suddenly start speaking incredibly fast, using a bunch of technical jargon that completely comes out of left field, you need a way to make me back up.
Wait, Mark, stop right there. You just used an expression. You said, comes out of left field. What exactly did you mean by out of left field?
Oh, right. Out of left field is a baseball idiom. It just means something unexpected, something that surprises you.
That is a perfect natural example. You used an idiom that a lot of learners might not know. If you are speaking to a learner and you throw in an idiom like that, they might get totally lost.
And if you get lost, you need a phrase that asks the speaker to rewind just a little bit. The phrase we use for this is, could you run that by me one more time?
Could you run that by me one more time? This is such a fantastic native-sounding phrase.
To run something by someone means to explain it or tell it to them. It is very common in business English, but we use it in daily life all the time.
When you say, could you run that by me one more time, it sounds incredibly professional. It sounds like you are deeply interested in what they are saying, and you just want to make sure you have all the details correct. It completely hides the fact that you might be struggling with listening comprehension.
It makes you sound engaged, not confused. Let's break down the pronunciation because the words link together here. We do not say run that by me. The words melt into each other. Run that by me. Run that by me.
Listen to the rhythm. Da 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 da. Run that by me. Let's practice the whole phrase. Again, use your physical anchor. Lift that hand gently to take control of the conversation space. Listen to Mark and then use the silence to speak out loud.
Could you run that by me one more time?
Excellent. Keep your voice calm and steady. Do not rush the words. You control the pace now. Repeat after me. Could you run that by me one more time?
One more practice for this one. Imagine the person just finished a long, complicated sentence about a project deadline. Raise your hand slightly, smile, and say it out loud. Could you run that by me one more time?
If this quiet, guided practice is helping you feel a little more in control today, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are here every week to give you a calm space to stop translating in your head and start speaking with confidence.
Let's move to the third scenario. This is the one that frustrates language learners the most. It's when you're listening to someone and your comprehension is perfect. You understand the grammar, you understand the context, but they use one single vocabulary word that you do not know.
Yes, and because you do not know that one word, the entire meaning of the sentence falls apart. Your brain gets stuck trying to translate or guess the meaning of that single word, and while your brain is working on that puzzle, the native speaker keeps talking and you lose everything that comes next.
Exactly. You get left behind. When this happens, a lot of learners will panic and ask a very direct question. They'll say, "What does this mean?" or "What is that word?"
Which is fine, but direct questions can sometimes sound a little sharp or abrupt, especially if the other person is in the middle of a thought. To sound more natural and polite, native speakers use a grammar structure called indirect questions. But don't worry about the grammar label. We're just going to practice the pattern.
Instead of saying, "What does X mean?" we soften the question. We stretch it out. We say, "Could you tell me what you meant by?"
Could you tell me what you meant by? And then you insert the confusing word. Let's go back to the idiom I used earlier, out of left field. If you didn't understand that, you wouldn't say, "What does left field mean?" You would soften it. I would say, "Sorry to interrupt, but could you tell me what you meant by left field?"
By adding, "Could you tell me what you meant by?" you take away all the aggressive energy. It becomes a gentle, curious request.
Let's practice this structure. It's a bit longer, so we'll take it slow. First, just the first half of the phrase. Listen and repeat out loud. Could you tell me?
Now the second half. Notice that it is meant with a T at the end because we are talking about what they just said in the past. What you meant by.
Let us put it together. We will use the word deadline as our example word. Imagine your boss just said, "We have a hard deadline on Friday." You want to clarify what hard deadline means. Lift your hand gently, take a breath, and repeat after me. Could you tell me what you meant by a hard deadline?
Beautiful. Let us try another one. Imagine a friend is telling a story and they use the word overwhelmed. You want to clarify it. Remember, keep your tone curious and soft. Repeat out loud. Could you tell me what you meant by overwhelmed?
Notice how much more sophisticated that sounds compared to just saying, "What is overwhelmed?" You are managing the conversation like an expert.
There is one more variation of this that is incredibly useful. Sometimes you do not need a specific word explained. You just missed the very end of their sentence. Maybe a truck drove past the cafe, or the coffee machine steamed some milk right as they finished speaking.
This happens all the time. For this, we use the phrase, "I did not quite catch that last part."
Catch, in this context, just means hear or understand. I did not quite catch that last part.
The word quite is the secret ingredient here. It softens the sentence. If you say, "I did not catch that," it sounds a little blunt. If you say, "I did not quite catch that," it sounds gentle, polite, and completely natural.
Let us practice this one. It is incredibly useful for noisy environments. Remember your gentle hand raise. Speak it clearly into the silence. Sorry, I did not quite catch that last part.
Try to link the words catch and that. Catch that. Do not leave a huge gap between them. Let's do it again. Sorry, I did not quite catch that last part.
You were doing great. Now you have a complete toolkit. You have, "Sorry, I completely missed that," for when you're totally lost. You have, "Could you run that by me one more time?" for when you need a process explained again. You have, "Could you tell me what you meant by?" for specific vocabulary. And you have, "I did not quite catch that last part," for when the environment gets noisy.
Having these phrases in your memory is wonderful, but knowing them is not enough. You have to be brave enough to actually use them to interrupt someone. That is the hardest part for most learners, breaking the silence and stopping a native speaker who was on a roll.
It feels rude, right? You're taught not to interrupt people. But in English conversation, polite interruption is a necessary survival skill. If you do not interrupt, you'll spend the entire conversation smiling, nodding, and sweating with anxiety.
So we're going to do something a little different right now. We're going to build an interruption simulator.
This is going to be a safe space to practice stepping in and taking control.
Here's how the simulator works. Mark is going to start talking. He's going to talk fast. He's going to talk about a random topic, maybe a trip he took or a problem at work. He's not going to stop.
I'm going to keep going, using natural native speed, linking my words together just like I would if we were sitting in a loud restaurant.
Your job is to physically interrupt him. I want you to literally speak out loud over his voice. Do not wait for him to finish his sentence. That is the rule. You must not wait for silence.
If you wait for silence, the conversation will have moved on and it will be too late to ask for clarification.
Exactly. When you feel ready, I want you to raise your hand slightly, just like we practiced, and say out loud, "Sorry, I completely missed that." You must project your voice clearly over his audio. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Mark, start telling us about your trip to the airport last week.
So I got to the airport on Thursday morning, and the line for security was completely out the door. I mean, it was wrapping around the building past the check-in desks, and I realized I had left my boarding pass on the kitchen counter, which was a total disaster because my flight was boarding in exactly 20 minutes, and the gate was all the way at the other end of Terminal 3. So I had to.
Stop. Did you do it? Did you speak over him? If you just sat there listening to him panic about his boarding pass, you failed the simulator. You have to break the barrier. You have to speak while he's speaking.
It feels uncomfortable at first. Your brain will tell you to wait your turn. But if someone is talking that fast, it's actually a kindness to stop them. If you let me talk for 5 minutes and then say you didn't understand, I will feel terrible for wasting your time.
That's such a profound point. By stopping the speaker early, you're saving both of you from a much more awkward situation later. Let's run the simulator again. This time we'll use the phrase, "Could you run that by me one more time?"
Remember, project your voice. Do not whisper. You have to politely cut through the noise.
Mark, tell us about the new software update at the office. Go fast. Listeners, interrupt him with, "Could you run that by me one more time?" Go.
Okay, so the new system is going to require everyone to update their passwords by the end of the week, but before you do that, you have to make sure your two-factor authentication is synced with your mobile device. Otherwise, you are going to get locked out of the main server, and the IT department said they are not going to be available to manually reset anyone until next Tuesday. So,
Stop. How did that feel? Did you raise your hand? Did you use a clear, calm voice? If you did, I guarantee you that in real life, the native speaker would instantly stop, smile, apologize for talking so fast, and happily explain it again.
Absolutely. If someone interrupts me with that phrase, my immediate thought is never, "Oh, their English is bad." My immediate thought is, "Oh, I am talking way too fast. I need to slow down." The phrase makes it my fault, not yours.
Let us do one final round in the simulator. This is the ultimate test. Mark is going to use a specific, difficult word in his story. I want you to listen for the word you do not know. As soon as you hear it, interrupt him using our indirect question structure.
You are going to say, "Could you tell me what you meant by," and then insert the confusing word.
Ready? Stay focused. Wait for the confusing word and then cut in. Mark, tell us about the restaurant we went to last night.
We went to this amazing new Italian place downtown. The atmosphere was fantastic and the service was great, but honestly, the prices were just completely exorbitant. I mean, for a simple plate of pasta, they were charging almost.
Stop. Did you catch the word? The word was exorbitant. It means extremely expensive. But even if you did not know what it meant, did you successfully interrupt him? Did you say, "Could you tell me what you meant by exorbitant?"
If you manage to do that, you are doing incredibly well. You're learning how to manage the flow of English, not just listen to it passively. You're taking the driver's seat.
That is the whole secret to speaking confidence. It's not about knowing every single word in the dictionary. It's not about having perfect listening skills. No one has perfect listening skills. Confidence is knowing that when you inevitably do get lost, you have the exact tools to handle the situation gracefully.
You never have to smile and nod nervously again. You have permission to stop the conversation. You have permission to ask for a rewind.
Your challenge for this week is very simple. The very next time you do not understand someone, whether it's in an English class, at work, or watching a video, do not just let it go. Take a breath, hold up your hand slightly, and use one of the phrases you practiced today out loud.
It will feel scary the first time you do it, but the relief you feel afterward will be incredible.
Now, I want you to practice your indirect questions with us in the comments. Use the exact grammar we learned today. Write a comment using the phrase, "Could you tell me what you meant by," and ask me about any confusing English word or idiom you have heard recently.
We'll jump into the comments and help explain them for you.
If you want to keep practicing your listening ears before you try this in the real world, click the next episode on your screen where we decode the fast, mumbled English you hear at coffee shops and grocery stores. Thank you for practicing in our quiet corner today, and we will speak with you soon.